And create a narrative that's not the narrative that God wants.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
The narrative that God wants is for you to see that everything can be redeemed. In all these relationships, we've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. I've publicly done things that were not acceptable as a husband. But right now, today, for whatever reason, I didn't know I was going to be standing right here. I didn't know I was going to be in front of this mic. But I'm here to change that narrative. I'm not letting E write the narrative of my family. I'm not letting Hulu write the narrative of my family. I'm not letting Disney write the narrative of my family. I am the priest of my home. I am the priest of my home. I am the priest of my home. I have to be next to my children as much as possible. So when I'm out the house, I got a house right next to the house. I'm doing everything to be right next to the situation. Right next to the situation. I'm trying to express this way in the most sane way possible, the most calm way possible, but I need to be back at home. Why is that? I'm saying it's I because if the enemy can separate Kanye, there's going to be millions of families that feel like that separation is okay. But when the kingdom, when God, who has already won and is so, brings Kanye together, there's going to be millions of families that are going to be influenced and see that they can overcome the work as a separation of trauma of the devil that's used to capitalize and keep people in misery while people step over homeless people to go to the Gucci store.
What is up, everyone? We are going to have a podversation, and I know it has been a little minute since I have posted any content. I apologize if you have been waiting for anything from me, and I appreciate each and every one of you who take the time to come to this channel or to the podcast to listen to the information and just allowing me to share my thoughts on things that are out here in this crazy world that we live in. And right now, speaking of crazy, and that is no knock to anyone who is diagnosed with bipolar disorder or anything like that, which I believe Kanye West has been diagnosed as being. But I'm sorry, I don't know if he was off the meds for the moment when he made that speech that you all just listened to that I played, but I'm thinking, is Kim Kardashian in danger of this guy? Listen, I don't think that she is in physical danger of him, okay? I don't want to put anything out there in terms of accusing him of being violent or, possibly physically harming her in any way, shape, or form. But just some of the things that he said in that speech and the things that he's been displaying on the social media outlets and different platforms that he's been on recently, like he was on the podcast Drink Champs with Noriega, and it was, for many, extremely entertaining, of course, but there were a lot of things that he said where it was just like, this dude is all over the place. And then he recently came out with this prayer, which I'm going to play a few clips of that as well, where he was just saying a lot of things where it was just like, huh? Like, what in the world? And he called it a prayer. And I'm not here to dictate how anyone should pray or what they should be praying for or praying about. I think it's good if anyone has a prayer life where they're praying to the true and living God. I do. And I just am not sure where it involves this prayer that he put out there, if it was an actual prayer to God or maybe even a prayer to himself. Because one of the things that he said in the quote unquote prayer that I found to be extremely narcissistic, to just say the least, was when he called himself very, 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 very attractive.
Crazy, deranged.
It's good to have good self-esteem and feel good about yourself, but my gosh, like, really, you are that attractive? I mean, beauty is definitely in the eye of the beholder for sure, but some things that he said in that speech, and that I don't even really want to call it a speech. I feel like it was more of a rant. that I caught, and I don't know if you all caught it, he said something along the lines of, when they're in that house, I'm in a house right next door. I'm right next to that situation. He's not specifically talking about co-parenting his children, because listen, sometimes relationships don't work out. Sometimes marriages don't work. I do believe that as long as you're not in an abusive situation, physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, there's more abuse than just physical. And as long as you're not being physically harmed and you're in a relationship, then you should maybe try to work it out if you made this lifelong commitment. Because a lot of people are extremely just like haphazard when it comes to marriages these days, and are just like ready to throw in the towel. Look, this dude is getting on my nerves. I'm sick of the snoring. I'm out of here. Like the least little thing. And I think that's a bit ridiculous and over the top. But he's talking about him and Kim as if they are the standards to marriages and relationships. And he had the nerve to call them Kanye, which is a nickname that, I feel stupid people do when people get together and they give these celebrities one name. They like join the names together. And so like Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck were called Benifer, and Jay-Z and Beyonce, Jay-yonce, and it's just stupid. So Kim Ye, okay, whatever. And maybe that's what inspired him to change his name to Ye or Yee, however he pronounces it, versus having himself called Kanye anymore. Anyway, him saying that, well, if Kim Ye, if we can't make it, then that's going to show so many millions of marriages. That's going to destroy a lot of households. And I'm like, who are you? You're two extremely famous people, a bit overrated when it comes to certain aspects. Of course, we know how Kim got her fame and how she got the rest of her family on, but we won't go into those details right now, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? And so talent is not really necessary with her. He's definitely an extremely talented person, and whether you like his type of music or not, that's neither here nor there. He's definitely had the talent with the music, with the fashion industry, and he's gone a very long way, and he is a billionaire at this point. I'm not one of those people that is just so subscribed to believing in someone because they're certified a millionaire or a billionaire, because they could be the most wicked people in the world. So I don't subscribe to those titles and labels. But hey, if you're doing really great things with your money and helping humanity, then I think that is great. And they all should be doing that if they've been allowed to come to those places in life financially. Because there's a lot of unjust balances in the world where that stuff is involved. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But him talking about him having to be back at home and be back with Kim, it really does sound just a little bit dangerous. Just a little bit. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, she filed for divorce. It's not what I really wanted, but look, it's her decision. If it were mine, we would be still in a relationship, but I respect her decision to move on. And so I'm going to do my best to move on, but we have kids together, and I'm still going to always be in my children's lives. So I will always still be a part of her life, and she will always be a part of mine. So be it. But she filed on the Drink Champs podcast. He said he still hadn't received any paperwork yet. I don't know what that's about. Maybe he's been ducking and dodging it because he's been here, there, and everywhere. But I know that Kim is happily out here dating Pete Davidson right now. And a lot of people feel like, what does she see in him? But this is, I feel, just a rebound situation. I don't feel that this is going to be her next husband in any way, shape, or form. But I do believe that she's just like having fun. This is some weight off of her shoulders. She is someone that is all about herself. So to be in a relationship with someone who has mental issues and is a bit needy, even though you may not have to financially take care of them, but he claimed that she did for a period. She actually got him out of debt, right? I believe that's what he said. So that's a lot. That's a lot on any woman. And so to go through all of those things and have 4 children, whether you birthed all 4 of them or not, she went through a lot, and now she has 4 children with this man. She was married to him, so it's not like she has 4 kids out of wedlock with someone that she's connected to. She was married to him, but him acting as if they are the gold standard for marriages and relationships, and if they don't work out, then woe be to all marriages, because every person that is married now or considering getting married, they're going to say, you know what the hell is the point? Because if Kim and Kanye couldn't make it, we might as well not even go down the aisle. Or, you know what, I know we've been in this relationship for 25 years, but if Kim and Kanye couldn't make it, let's just get out of this and go our separate ways and figure it out. And like, no. First of all, they weren't equally yoked to begin with. I don't know that I'm not saying that she doesn't believe in God or anything, but he clearly was someone that did. Whether you agree that he is still following that path or not, because to me, honestly, I do feel that it is a bit questionable, and I may talk about that in another conversation. But when he really made the deep dive into moving forward in his Christianity and walk with God and doing all of these Sunday services and doing all of that different type of stuff, he was on the Keeping Up with the Kardashian show for a little bit, and he was contending with her about the way that she was dressing. And she said, just because you're on this new path, doesn't mean that I am there with you. She let him know, like, this is your choice. This is what you choose to do. That doesn't mean that I want to do it. We're just married. So they were already unequally yoked in the beginning, and you kind of get what you pay for. And this is what he chose. So she doesn't want it anymore. I don't want to say that she never loved him or she doesn't love him. I do believe that there is love there, but him thinking that their marriage is what is the standard for marriages is really ridiculous. And it's like you are off your rocker saying some of the things that you're saying, and then people are sitting there amening it, like, amen, yeah, you're right, blah blah blah, like they're in agreement with what he's saying just because he's Kanye. And that's the trouble with a lot of people in the world right now. They just agree with people just because they feel that these people are on some higher standard or pedestal than they are. So just because they're saying it makes it true or makes it right. He sounded ridiculous.
Crazy, deranged.
Nothing wrong with wanting to be in your children's lives and co-parent and everything, but when you're saying things like, if they're in one house, I'm in the house next door, I'm right next door to that situation, I'm going to be there. Like, who says, did she say she wants you to live next door? I don't know. There were many times I believe she tried to get him committed and get him out of her space and out of her house because she didn't want to be around him. So I don't think that she really wants to be around him like that. And I do believe that her being out in the public with Pete Davidson is definitely to get under his skin as well. I do believe that. And so she better be careful. I'm sure she has bodyguards and things like that, but she just better be careful and watch out, because people like that, you just have to be careful, because they can snap and it may not be pretty. I don't wish that on her. I don't even wish that on him to do anything like that, but he sounds like he needs to get his medication, the levels changed or fixed or however that works. I'm not very familiar with that, obviously, as I say that, but I don't think that sounds very healthy. And some people may think, oh, that's so sweet, when someone that you said you don't want to be with is basically saying in not so many words, like, if I can't be with you, then nobody will. That's not cute. That is dangerous. It's not cute at all. So I would really love to know what you guys think about this. So let me know your thoughts. And yeah, Kanye and Kim are not the gold standard to marriages and relationships. So if it didn't work out, it probably wasn't going to work out anyway. And a lot of us are surprised that it lasted as long as it did. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until the next time, I'm just being beautifully honest.